I bought me Nana a pug dog for her birthday. Despite the crossed eyes, the rolls of fat, the constant farting, the dog still likes her. I was actually looking after that dog a few days ago, and that was the exact day my dad decided to throw a massive house party, and his friends would have been such idiots. He'd pouring cans of beer in the dog bowl, and the dog actually started drinking it. Must have had about 16 cans. He was break dancing on the dance floor, singing "Who Let the Dogs Out" on the karaoke machine. Honestly. The next morning, when he woke up, I looked at him and said, "How are you feeling?" He looked up and went, "Rough, rough, rough." I've got this new neighbour that's just moved in next door, and she told me that about a week ago she was showering, and then she heard someone knock on the door, and she couldn't find a towel, but then the guy said, "It's the blind man." She thought, it's okay, he's blind. So she went to the door, naked. She opened the door, and the man said, "Nice boobs, where do you want these blinds?" This summer, I went to see my great-granddad. Very old. He absolutely loved cricket. He used to play it all the time when he was younger. So we went to see his local cricket team, and they said that a few of the players couldn't make it because there was an accident on the motorway. So they asked if there was any volunteers that wanted to play in the meantime. A few people stood up, and then my granddad stood up and said, "Sit down, you're 93 years old." And he said, No, I want to play." He played, and he was absolutely amazing. 4s, 6s, and he went to bat. He was just amazing, man of the match. His team won, came off to a standing ovation. Then he just passed out dead, had a heart attack. A few weeks later, at his funeral, we all agreed he had a good innings. About a week ago, my mum went out shopping, and I was staying in my house watching the telly. And then this news flash came on, saying that you need to be very careful if you're out driving, because someone's driving up the motorway the wrong way. So he picked up my phone, said to my mum, Mum, watch out, some idiot's driving up the motorway the wrong way." She said, "Jack, the YOLO." When I was younger, I used to always have this feeling that I was adopted. So one day, I did it, went up to my dad, said, "Dad, am I adopted?" He said, "Son, what My next foster parents, I asked them for a skateboard. They didn't get me one. So in the middle of the night, I got up, I got some wood, some nails, and a hammer, and I beat them to death. My next foster parents bought me 5 skateboards. A few weeks ago, I ran up to an Indian restaurant and I said, "Excuse me, sir, do you have naan?" He said, "Yes, sir, we have naan." I said, "Well, then send her home, Granda's worrying sick where she is." You know who I really look up to? Tall people. Once, there was an Englishman, Scotsman, and an Irishman, and they were walking through a graveyard. So for a laugh, I started reading the graves. The Englishman read one that said, "This guy lived till he was 87. Scotsman and Irishman said, 87, that's a long time. Scotsman read one that said 93. And the Englishman and the Irishman said, 93, that's a long time. Scotsman said, "Yeah, apparently died playing cricket." So then the Irishman read one that this guy lived till he was 120. The Englishman and Scotsman said, 120, really? That's got to be a record. What's his name? He said, "Miles." They said, "Miles who?" He said, "Miles to London." There's some right miserable people. This summer I was going to England to see my family, and on the plane I sat down, and 15 minutes later, just before takeoff, this man came up and said, "Excuse me, sir, this is my seat." I said, "No way, I've been sitting here for 15 minutes, find somewhere else." He said, "I'm sure you'll find that this is my seat." I said, "Nah, there's plenty of seats back there." He said, "Fine, you fly the plane then."
Jack Martin.